John O'Donohue speaks in one of his books about how we live on the threshold, the shoreline between the visible and the invisible, and how many of our greatest struggles and challenges in life originate on this intersection, this threshold. So, what does he mean by invisible? He talks about how so many things in life that contribute to our qualitative experience in life are, in fact, invisible. So let's think about it. Thoughts, emotions, feelings, love, hate, compassion, empathy, justice, courage, integrity, even time, meaning, life itself. All of these things are not measurable and in fact are invisible. We can't touch them, we can't feel them. We only experience them, and the light from the invisible world sheds onto the visible world. So, an example, let's talk about relationships. A lot of times in relationships, it's the unseen, the invisible realm that largely influences a relationship. Is love present in the relationship? That's important. Now, can you come up with a checklist from the visible realm that would measure whether or not love is present? Well, you can try to. Did your significant other take the garbage out at prescribed appropriate intervals of time? Check. Did your significant other kiss you enough? Did your significant other have sex with you enough? Whatever you want to put on the list, it doesn't matter what the list entails. The problem is it will never measure whether or not love is in fact present in a relationship, because you can have any of these things present and it still not be love, because love is qualitative and can't be measured with a checklist. It's the same thing in mental health. My patients all the time are frustrated that they come in with something like depression, and okay, depression is invisible. It exists largely in the invisible realm. And there is no blood test that can measure whether or not someone is depressed. There is no brain imaging that can show whether or not someone has bipolar disorder. It doesn't exist. And this is one of the problems, really, with the biopsychiatry model in general, is that it tends to disacknowledge the invisible, because it operates from this the universe as machine kind of perspective. It basically looks at everything can be measured. So therefore, we're going to have a neurotransmitter that is low, or some sort of chemical that we can measure that says this person is depressed. Well, the problem is depression, or any mental health condition, is multifactorial. A neurosurgeon can't cut into someone's brain and see depression, and never will be able to. We can't look at thoughts in the brain when we cut into the brain. We don't see them. They're invisible, as our feelings, as our emotions. Now, okay, you can tap with an electrode on certain realms of the brain and have, people experience certain things, but does that mean we've really understood what depression is, or what schizophrenia is, or what any mental health condition is? No, we've seen a little pattern here. That's it. So the biopsychiatry model falls short, because it operates from this assumption that everything pretty much is going to be in the visible realm. And that's just not how life is. We can see evidence of this just in life in general, that all these qualitative things that largely have to do with meaning and quality of life are not measurable. They're in the invisible realm. So I think part of what the role and job in mental health and in medicine in general is about trying to restore balance and help acknowledge the presence of the invisible and how it how it factors into our lives in general, and then reconnecting with it, harvesting the wisdom that is inherent in the invisible realm to bring it into the light, to shed light on the visible realm. We do this through the creative arts. We can connect more intimately with the invisible realm through the symphony, through music, through observing a Van Gogh painting, through all of the creative arts, walking in nature, connecting with, I mean, look at the moon. The full moon affects the tides on our planet. Wow, that's an energetic thing going on there. Yes, we have some kind of description of the gravitational pull, and we think we understand that, but honestly, it also affects cycling for women. We're intimately connected to the moon, and yet that's a little bit invisible, the connection that we have with it. Does that mean we shouldn't try to understand it? No. But we need to reconnect with nature. We need to connect with our spirituality to try to restore balance between the invisible and the visible. So I think that's the mission in medicine, really. That's my philosophy of medicine, that it's about restoring balance and acknowledging the invisible and its presence in our lives and how it can help. We can harness some of the wisdom and energy in the invisible to help us in the visible world. And in so doing, become healthier. Thank you for tuning in.